Welcome to the Codys D1NZ National Drifting Championship clipping point from right here, Mount Smart Stadium setup. In this grand final special episode, we take a look at the front runners of the series in both Pro and Pro-Am, and the mammoth 5 rounds that has made this D1NZ 2014 series so hotly contested. First, it all started in the Waikato at Hampton Downs, where it was the heavy hitters Gaz White in the Tectaloid S14 and Mad Mike Widett in the Red Bull RX-7 battling it out. With White taking podium over the Red Bull RX-7, the surprise of the round was V8 supercar legend Shane Van Gisbergen grabbing his first podium spot in his inaugural first series. Round 2 was the first of the concrete tracks, and it caught out the Tectaloid S14 of Gaz White, hitting the wall in the final battle and granting the Bull and its pilot Mad Mike his first podium of the season. The big personality of Cole Armstrong summing up the podium for the NAC backed round for Northland's biggest motorsport event. D1NZ returned to the amazing site of ASB Bay Park Stadium in Mount Maunganui for the first inaugural New Zealand All-Stars alongside D1NZ, an event that is sure to grow in mammoth proportions in future years to come. And while the FMX went upside down trackside and the cars slid around, once again, the strong season charge of Widett would see him chasing down Achilles radial driver Andrew Redwood, who claimed second last year in front of the biggest D1NZ crowd for the first Bay Park event, wasn't going out without a fight. Boxing hard, Redwood grabbed his first podium of the season, and of course we can't forget South Auckland's finest, Nico Reed taking out third position in the Luxury Sports S15. Taupo's Rico Motorsport Park was the next stop of the D1NZ Roadshow, where over 60 drivers would contend the Achilles-sponsored round. In early battles, Fangadan and Nico Reed showed great form, but Nico Reed would dive on the last Achilles corner, causing Widett to spin. In true sportsmanship style, Reed would advise officials of his own fault and Widett would move forward. One of the final battles would come down to the Autosure R34 of Whitaker, who was also the finalist in last year's Taupo event. Widett vs Whitaker would be one of the most controversial calls of the season, and in the end, it was Whitaker who would move through to battle for first and second. After a gigantic engine rebuild at the track on practice day, White in the Tectaloid S14 could say job well done by the team and stand proud on the top podium spot. All season, White and Widett have gone punch for punch. However, Christchurch, the longest drift section of the series, would see cars being punished to their limitations and Widett's RX-7 out. The Bad Bull RX-8 prime spot on competition day and what was a stellar season for Widett seemed to be chucked out the door when he went out in the top 32. Judges awarding a one more time against Dave Steadman, and then Dave Steadman taking the win. This left the door wide open for Redwood, White, Donovan and Van Gisbergen all to hunt down that top podium spot. While both Redwood and Donovan were hungry, Shane Van Gisbergen was pre-event marked to be more hungry than anyone. This put the true Holden vs Ford battle to bed when he got payback on defending champion Fangadan Woolhouse in the Castro Edge Commodore for last season's win at Manfield. Van Gisbergen would head to battle for first and second with White in the Tectaloid S14 in front of a bumper crowd of 6,500 people at Mike Perro Motorsport Park with them on their feet. White would now halt the circuit and outcome drifter from his first ever top podium spot. Van Gisbergen stoked with his first ever second in the series and confident with a well set up Bok Gas's Rattler Motorsport Falcon coming into the grand final at Mount Smart Stadium. So now you know how we got to where the grand final championship standings are. With hundreds of battles, thousands of tyres up in smoke, there's only going to be one Drift King. This now gives White a 30.5 lead over Widett and an 83.5 lead over Whitaker. So the grand final can be any one of the 3W's titles fight. Widett, White or Whitaker, only time will tell. Mount Smart Stadium plays host to the D1NZ Grand Final 2 weeks time in association with NAC Insurance and has some interesting changes coming into the event. But first, we can't forget that we are at round 6 of the series, and while the recap shows the championship pro leaders, D1NZ Pro-Am has a very tight fight on its hands. That very dark horse, Vincent Langhorne, leading Gaz Grove in the Spill Response S14. Two drivers who aren't scared to put it to the concrete walls that round 6 will bring. Both the Marshall brothers from Kerikeri are ones to watch with a stellar first season in Pro-Am, and of course the immaculate Seas Garage driver Joel Hedges will be at home against the concrete wall as well. There's over 30 Pro-Am drivers hunting for victory, and Pro-Am will get its very first taste of night battles on the Friday evening at Mount Smart, so finish work early and come down to see the Pro-Ams in force on the Friday evening. So Mount Smart will feature a new drag race style setup, custom track and mortar seal laid, which will allow drivers faster entries and the first initiation flick coming into the first corner. The track in the middle will remain, however, a mystery to both drivers and fans until competition day. Yeah. So the unique format of a D1NZ night round returns. Mount Smart Stadium, V8 rotary, bike demos, stunt bikes, pyrotechnics, bars, trade stands, giveaways, and a massive fireworks display with massive grandstand seating. It's up close and personal, D1NZ Mount Smart, and that's what D1NZ is known to bring for the grand final. It's a feeling that is a pure rush, being trackside and feeling the cars rumble through you. Only one place, Mount Smart Stadium, will history be made when we crown 2 round winners and a new New Zealand Pro-Am champion, and of course, a new New Zealand Drift King. Grandstand tickets are on sale at iticket.co.nz, where you can hit the link on the bottom of the screen right now to grab your spot at the grand final. Remember the date, Friday the 23rd of May, Saturday the 24th of May for New Zealand's only night drifting event, the D1NZ Grand Final, the last championship round this year. Be there.